Hello, I am Terry Hartley at Rustic Barn Cars. I am glad you're here. I'm an independent Stampin'Up demonstrator in the United States. And if you're in the United States, I know this is a big holiday weekend. It's Labor Day. So a lot of you have Monday off, and some of you might have had yesterday off, Friday, because today is Saturday, September the 4th of 2021. And if you're live, let me know where you're from. Say hi if you're watching this live. And if you're watching the replay, leave a comment. So again, I just decided to hop on and do a little stamping. I'm going to be using the Peaceful Cabin stamp set. Now you can purchase it with dies, but today I'm just using the stamp set. And here in Iowa, it's a little dreary where I'm at. So instead of being outside, I decided to come into my Rustic Barn studio and do a little stamping. And I thought I would share with you. So if you receive a notification that I was sharing a video and you couldn't find it, because I was having a little technical difficulty. Probably was technical difficulty on my part, not necessarily the computer's part, but hopefully I have that solved and this is going to go great, or at least you can hear me. That was one of the problems. So I am going to turn my camera down and talk to you a little bit, and we're going to start stamping. So as you know, celebration is going on through the end of September. So this is an awesome time because celebration, for every $50 order, you can receive a free product out of the celebration catalog. But it's also a great time to be part of Stampin'Up community. So I would love for you to join my group of stampers, because this is a perfect time to join during celebration, because you can choose $125 worth of product and only pay $99 plus free shipping. And right now, on top of that, during celebration, now through the end of September, you can also choose a free bundle. And that means that you can choose one of 12 different bundles. So that's a stamp set and dies, or a stamp set and punch. So that is on top of the $125 worth of product that you can choose out of the annual and or the mini catalog, and pay $99 plus free shipping. And then your orders after that, you save 20%. So why not be a discount shopper? If you buy Stampin' Up products, why not get a discount? So actually right now during celebration, if you choose $125 worth of product, let's say you're going to choose this Christmas to Remember stamp set and dies. Well, it is a $60. It's $60.25. It's what you would spend to buy it, but you could get that free right now. Plus, you also will receive a free paper pumpkin, which retails at $22. So all of that together is over $200. So you can receive over $200 of product and only pay $99 plus free shipping. And then all your orders after that, you will save 20%. Plus, you'll get some perks for being on my team. We have a private Facebook group, and we have a lot of fun things, and you'll have some access to my classes and things. And speaking of classes, and again, if you have any questions, you can call me, email me about joining. I would be glad to answer those. So the month of September, I have an online class, and if you place an online order for $50, and that's without tax and shipping, using the host code that I have here, and place your online order between September 1st and the 15th. And of course, you will receive a celebration item when you place a $50 order, plus my free card kit. So my online class is placing a $50 order, and I will send you a free card kit, including cardstock, the ribbon that shows here. So enough ribbon to make a bow and to use on this card, die cutouts, and you will receive the 5 gilded gems. So you have to make one of each of these cards that I'm showing you. And I'm using the Peaceful Cabin bundle that's on page 38 of the mini catalog. If you already have this bundle, you can place any $50 order to receive the card packet. So I will send you a card packet to make one of each of these 3 designs. And I'll send that out around September 18th. So you have now through the 15th to place that $50 order using me as your demonstrator and using this host code. And again, you can go over on my website at rustybarncards.com, and all that information is there for you. And it also will be in the description too. All right, are we ready to make a card? Well, we're going to be using 3 inks: Cherry Cobbler, Basic Gray, and Mossy Meadow. So those are, and I'm going to be using the stamp set Peaceful Cabin, which is the same stamp set that I designed the cards for my September card class. We don't need a lot of cardstock. We need a strip for our sentiment, basic white to stamp on. We have Mossy Meadow, and our card base is Cherry Cobbler. And then I am going to be using one of the embossing folders, the Wintry 3D embossing folder. And this fits into our mini cut and emboss, as well as you can use this in the larger cut and emboss. So you have a really pretty with snowflakes, and you also have this one with the pine branches, and this is the one that we're going to use today. So the first thing we're going to do, because we are going to be using a masking technique, because I want to stamp the pine trees. And here is the stamps that we're going to use. So I want to stamp the pine trees behind the cabin. So that is what I'm going to show you one way to do that. So you want to stamp first the main image. So we're going to stamp the cabin. I'm going to go ahead and ink that up in Cherry Cobbler. And I am going to place this more towards the bottom. I'm going to leave a little bit of space. And then I'm going to clean my stamp, although I'm going to stamp it again. So I'm going to lay that aside. And then I'm going to bring in a sticky note. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ink up my cabin. And the sticky part's up here. So I want to make it, I want to get at least the roof, or not the roof, the chimney, I guess you would say, on the sticky part. And then I'll need this block for my pine trees. Then I'm going to close my Cherry Cobbler, and I'm going to bring in a pair of scissors, and I am going to cut out the cabin. Now, I could have already done this before, but I just wanted to kind of show you exactly how to do it, because this is our masking. We're going to use this as a mask. It's going to go over our cabin on our card. When we stamp our trees, so our trees will show behind. Okay. Now I'm going to bring back, we're going to bring this back here, and we are going to use our sticky note, which is our mask, and we are going to place that right over our stamped image on our cardstock. And then I'm going to go ahead and add our pine trees. So I can just get those set right here, bring in our block, pick up our pine trees. And I'm going to use Mossy Meadow ink for the pine trees. So just ink those up. And then I am going to place those. So I'm going to place them part of the tree down on the cabin, but it won't be, it's going to be on that mask. So it's going to stamp on the mask, not actually on the cabin. So I'll press down and straight up. And then I am going to ink up again because I want to fill in right there. There we go. Now I got a little bit of ink right there, but I think that's okay because we can either cover that up with some snow or one of the gems that we will be embellishing with. Okay, so now we're going to take this off, and you have your trees behind your cabin. So that's the masking technique. Now I want to bring in our Mossy Meadow, and notice that our cardstock is going to be, it's wider than our embossing folder. But I'm going to kind of do it right in the middle because this layer is going to go on top of this Mossy Meadow. So it'll kind of cover up any any lines that it shows. So I'm going to go ahead and run this through the cut and emboss machine. And I have already done that. So it's going to look like this. So we just have half of it. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this back in, and the part that is already embossed, I'm going to leave it like this. I'm going to run it through the cut and emboss machine. And here we go. I already have that finished. So we are going to bring in our card base, and here is our embossed Mossy Meadow. And I'm going to bring in some gold ribbon. And I'm going to, there we go. And then I'm going to decide kind of where I want that, where I want the ribbon at. And I think I'm going to bring it down here a little bit. So about right there. Okay, so we're going to place it about right here. So I'm going to bring in my silicone craft sheet and turn this over. And both sides of the embossing both sides of the cardstock that's been embossed are beautiful. So you can use either side. And when I have one side attached, I like to just make sure that I have it straight before I turn it over. And then I just put a little stamp and seal. And now we are ready to adhere this to our card base. So I'm going to bring in some liquid glue. You will need one more layer of basic white to put inside your card. So you can write on the inside of your card. So that I will make sure that is in the measurements and the directions, and I'll have that down below. After live, I will add that. And we're going to do a little more, lay this aside and do a little more stamping. We're going to bring in our basic gray. And I'm going to bring in the little snowflakes from the Peaceful Cabin stamp set. Let me see if I can see anyone has joined us. Hi, Leslie. Thanks for joining me. I didn't have it set up, but now I do, where I can see comments. Now I'm going to stamp off. So I'm going to stamp off on my grid paper and then onto my card. So it's not quite as dark. And you can just randomly stamp these little snowflakes. I don't want to get too many because sometimes, I don't know if I can, trying to see if I can get that covered up, but I might just add a gem there actually. I'm afraid it'll overlap and that won't look good either. So I think that's fine. And we'll just add a gem, cover up that little smudge there. So we could pop this up, but I think but you could pop it up, but I'm not going to. I'm going to pop up the sentiment, but you most certainly could add dimensionals and pop this layer up if you wanted to. But again, this is a fairly quick and easy card, but I wanted to show you that masking technique so you can get those pine trees behind your cabin. And then I am going to bring in our strip of basic white, and we are going to stamp our sentiment in basic gray. And I am going to use Your Kindness. Hi, Brandy, thank you. Your kindness makes the world a more beautiful place to be. So we'll ink this up. Now I often stamp first and then cut my sentiment out, but this time I cut out the size of the sentiment that I wanted, and it worked, so that's good. And we're going to pop our sentiment up. Then, of course, we're going to have to add some embellishments, some gems, and I'm going to add the Gilded Gems because they will go with our ribbon that we used on this card. So I'm going to just place this right down here. And I intentionally slid it over a little bit to kind of give it a little variation there. So instead of making it even, and then I'm going to bring in those Gilded Gems. And of course, my take your pick tool. And I'm going to just slide one off, and we're going to get this little smudge covered up. There we go. And we could just leave it right like this, or we could also go ahead and add a couple other. I think my putty is about ready to get the refill in. We will just pick it up. There we go. All right, and I think I will add, sometimes I just can't decide where to add these gems. Are you like that too, or is it just me? And we will put one right there. All right, so here is our card. Your kindness makes the world a more beautiful place to be. And as I said, I did forget that basic white layer, but I will definitely add that, and I'll make sure it's on the directions and the measurements for you in the description. So let me know if you like the card. I hope, again, that masking technique is a way that you can add your pine trees or add something behind, but just make sure you put your main image first and then do the masking and stamp it below. Hello again. So let me know if you like this card. I had fun playing around with this Peaceful Cabin stamp set. I just love it. And if you watch me for any length of time, you know that I have used it for some other cards. So again, please consider subscribing. I'd appreciate that. I appreciate you watching, and have a great weekend and happy stamping.